Well, welcome ladies and gents. Batwoman has been cancelled. I thought I'd appear for a change, as dishevelled as I am, because Batwoman has been cancelled. It's not just Batwoman, it's in fact that they've cancelled all sort of Arrowverse shows at the CW. This is not a huge surprise, mainly because they're up for sale. That's going to be the only reason these shows have been canned. And obviously, look, apologies if you like those shows. I get it. But they're not good viewership. They're terrible. And they haven't cancelled The Flash. They've kept that going. We knew that that was going to happen anyway. Namely because they'd renewed Grant Gustin's contract for quite a handsome figure, actually. So let's dive into this today. Before we do, ladies and gents, hope you're well. Just as an aside, I did my birthday stream last night. It cancelled itself out towards the end because my internet cut out. Yes, quite frustrating, I'm not going to lie. But all that gets resolved. I just thought I'd do a PSA on that. All that gets resolved in 2 weeks now, which I'm incredibly looking forward to. I will have good internet, everything will go much smoother. Members will have access to their games, everything, it'll all be good. So I just thought I'd give a PSA. Please do check out my Twitter. This is important now, because obviously Musk owns Twitter. It's actually a fun place to be, namely because you can say what you want. So check out my Twitter, @MissDateReviews. And if you don't have one, create one and follow me. But let's dive into this today, folks. Hope you're all well, by the way, on this Saturday. So here we have it. Batwoman has been cancelled after 3 seasons at the CW. Now again, remember, not a huge surprise. And it's mainly because they're up for sale. I'm going to guess that is the reason. That's going to be the only reason they're up for sale. They don't know what's going on with them. They have no idea. So they might as well just cancel the stuff and, slow down production. It's fascinating to me that Gotham Knights is still going ahead though, which was a new show that they were making, which undoubtedly was trying to capitalise on the release of a game, which I'm sure the game developers were very unhappy about. But it'll be interesting to see what Discovery has plans for with this. If they're cancelling them, you never know, ladies and gents. They may have some plans for these characters in their rebooted DC slate. So let's check this out. Right, Batwoman has been cancelled at the CW after 3 seasons. So series showrunner Caroline Dries shared the news on Twitter, writing, just got the sad news that Batwoman will not be seeing a season 4. I am bummed, but full of gratitude. I thought I'd do a pause there because it's funny. What an honour, I'm a child, to make 51 episodes. So many inspiring, brilliant people contributed to this series. Thank you, producers, cast and crew. Thank you, fans. We love you. Oh, she's a poet, and I bet she didn't know it. But again, this is not a surprise. The viewership's been just absolutely going off a cliff. Batwoman began airing on the CW in 2019. God, I remember that. I remember that first trailer. I'm a woman. That was an awful trailer. Albeit with a different lead. So that had Ruby Rose originally starring in the series. I thought about this the other day. There was supposed to be a lawsuit against Ruby Rose from Dougray Scott, who was also in the series, for defamation. Obviously, I've been covering, the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial, and that's a defamation case, and it did cast my mind back to Dougray Scott saying he was going to sue Ruby Rose for $10 million, if I remember rightly, for defamation. So that'll be interesting. But I've not heard anything about that since. But anyway, Ruby Rose exited after her first season. She later claimed that unsafe working conditions led to her exit, as well as issues with co-star Dougray Scott, which is obviously why he was suing her. The unsafe working conditions, well, that's a fact. They've been shut down a few times because of safety. So that's not exactly a stretch to believe, is it? Let's be honest here. Javicia Leslie was then brought in as a new character to take over the mantle of Batwoman. The show also starred Rachel Scarston, Megan Tandy, Nicole Kang, Cameron Johnson, Victoria Cartagena, Robin Givens, and Nick Cregan. And look, as much as I hated this show because it was awful, I'll give it this. Rachel Scarston did a good job. She really hammed it up. She did well. And, you know, I'd like to see what she goes on to next. Hopefully bigger things, because this, I mean, you can't get much lower than this, can you? So, Dries developed Batwoman for TV based on the characters from DC. She executive produced along with Greg Berlanti. One of the main things I really hope Discovery does is get rid of Berlanti. He's awful. Everything he makes is garbage. They really need to go. They make things on the cheap. It is... There's no level of class behind what they do or artistic vision. It's how can we make this as cheaply as possible and get as much out of it as possible. They hire incredibly bad writers. It's just garbage. Anyway, Sarah Schechter was there of Berlanti Productions, as well as Jeff Johns, Chad Fiveash, and James Patrick Stotoro. Warner Brothers Television was the studio. So with the cancellation, the only remaining DC shows are The Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, Stargirl, and The Flash was renewed for a 9th season back in March, while Stargirl is waiting to debut its 3rd season later this year. Legends of Tomorrow, future at the network is still pending. However, Fiveash, Stotoro, and Batwoman writer Natalie Abrams are currently prepping the pilot Gotham Knights at the network, which is, I'm so surprised they're still going ahead with that. I'll have to look into Superman and Lois, because that's technically still, it's still a DC show. It's still part of this, you know, Arrowverse, I'm guessing. And I hope they don't cancel that, because although it's predominantly, you know, there's a large portion of HBO that work on that, which it shows, but I really hope they haven't cancelled that, because Superman and Lois is good. Like, that's a genuinely good show. I review that weekly, and it's, anyone that's watched it would agree, 9 times out of 10, like, it's a decent show. The last episode was actually one of the best ones. Well, it was the best of both seasons. Questions on the CW's future in scripted series have been in the air some time, given that Nexstar is currently in talks to purchase a majority stake in the network, and the CW has renewed multiple shows along with The Flash, and has 3 pilots in contention, including Gotham Knights. Still, whether or not the pilot and the rest of the network scripted fare will continue on should the purchase go through remains to be seen. I really hope Zaslav of Discovery moves Superman and Lois over to HBO Max. Give it the budget it deserves. It looks like it has a much higher budget than all the other shows. It's actually well made. Well edited as well. So I sincerely hope that is the case. But there you go, ladies and gents. I mean, look, there is no possibility. Apparently I unzipped my hoodie whilst I was doing this. Sorry about that. Apparently, I could not do a video on this. I had to. I've been here from the start, and now it's at the end. We mourn you. The loss of Batwoman. Bitch mams. No more reviews. Although I checked out of doing any reviews on that show after a while, because the thing about that show is it actually got boring to review. They weren't even fun anymore. It just became painful to review that show. So there you have it, ladies and gents. What do you think? Let me know down below. And again, if you're new here, do hit subscribe. I'd love to have you here more often. But there you have it. Love to hear your thoughts. It's done. R.I.P. Batwoman.